Adios, soldiers. It feels like a tropical forest inside my apartment. My makeup's coming off because it's the end of my filming day, and my once iced latte is now more water than ice or latte. So it's the perfect time to rant. On today's episode of What's Not a Crime But Feels Like One. Well, actually, this maybe sort of is a crime. I was actually researching for another video when I fell down the rabbit hole of insane advanced copy resellers. Also, some arcs are getting like special editions now, and I'm blown away, I'm confused, I'm upset, and I thought I would share those feelings with the internet. As a part-time and semi-professional book blogger, I am no stranger to an ARC. I get many sent to me. Also, I work in publishing. Literally, I'm sending out advanced copies like every week to other people. So considering I'm part of the industry in a multitude of ways, I do think that gives me the authority to talk shit. And I wanted to go over my own thoughts on the ethics and morals of selling advanced copies. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle in. We're gonna talk about why I think ARC should be made ugly again and how I'm very mad at people who resell them. Okay, so basics. What is an ARC? ARC, or ARC, is advanced reading copy. These are bound manuscripts that are sent out about 6 to 4 months in advance of a book coming out that are meant for review purposes. These go to other industry professionals, they go to review outlets, they go to bookstores, and they go to book bloggers. But all of them, in one way or another, do have something on them that says this is an uncorrected proof and it's not for sale. The reason that advanced copies are not for sale is because this is an uncorrected proof. So the final edits haven't gone through yet. They might change things before the final version comes out, which is why usually any kind of quotations are usually pulled from the finished book instead of the ARC. They are not commercially viable because they are not commercially the final product. Now, a lot of people will argue that the not for resale is for commercial use only. This is why bookstores can't resell ARCs. However, individuals that own property can resell whatever they want. And so that's where a lot of people pull on the, it is technically legal, but it is also morally and ethically questionable. And also a little bit legally questionable because if literally something says do not sell, I don't know, seems pretty clear to me. Now, as a book blogger, I receive advanced copies to review, to show off to my audience and hype up before the book actually comes out so that other people will lean into that hype and probably buy a copy for themselves. I do not get paid when I receive advanced copies. I receive this as my payment. The practice of giving a book in exchange for a review is a transaction, but no money is changing hands. Advanced copies were meant for industry. This is a professional review product, and as more and more people enter the creator space, we are part of that machine. And as the cycles of the machine of publishing have been changing because of social media, things like Book Talk, things like Bookstagram, there's more discussion and hype and want for advanced copies than ever before, which I think is great because that means more people are getting into reading. But this also means that there is major competition, especially if there's a very highly desired book coming out this year. Who gets an advanced copy of it and who doesn't can make the community like melt down. In our world constantly chasing status and internet clout, if you get an advanced copy of something that everybody wants, like that's a trophy, right? That's like a bragging right, which leads to infighting in book blogger circles and the reselling of ARCs at extreme prices. I knew there was a black market, so to speak, of advanced copy resell, but I didn't realize to the extent. So I went to eBay and I literally just typed in advanced reader copy and like, girl, what the fuck is this? The fuck is this? The fuck is this? What the actual fuck is this? I'm mostly confused as why readers would pay so much for an ARC because, again, it's an uncorrected proof, and if you just wait like 3 months, you're gonna be able to buy an actual copy of the book in its full, finalized, completed format in probably a nicer version because it's going to be hardcover and maybe have like nice edges or like a dust jacket. And it's going to be like a 1/10 of the price. You know? Oh my god, well, my voice just cracked. The way that authors make money through their books is mostly royalties, and authors don't get any royalties if you sell their ARCs. If you get something for free, or sort of free, and we'll talk about that in a second, and then you turn around and sell it for profit, like, what are you, a drop shipping company? Now, the argument I see the most in favor of selling ARCs is I have done the labor required in exchange for this ARC. You know, I've posted about it, I've reviewed it. So now I'm free to do whatever I want with it. And this is a sentiment that I usually agree with for like a variety of other things, but when it comes to ARCs or like basically anything that I receive as part of content creation, I feel like it's a little bit more of a soup. Like I've been saying over and over again, don't turn this into a drinking game, I swear to God. An advanced copy is an unfinished proof, so you are upselling and charging more for something that has a lesser value than the finished copy. B, you've received something at the expense of another company, and now you're turning around to make profit for yourself, especially when you did not receive the same form of payment, i.e. like actual cash for it. And C, why are you selling it for $700? And I'm sure eventually the company would be like, hey, what the hell? We keep giving you things at our expense. You get them for no dollars attached to them, and yet you're making profit off of our labor. But we don't have just the sellers, we also have the buyers, and the idea that some of you are willing to drop like a rent check worth of money on a advanced copy that's going to come out in 2 months is insane to me. I saw somebody on Reddit talk about how they only bought advanced copies for books that they didn't win in giveaways or that they really wanted and couldn't wait. And I was like, oh, you have to wait for something? Oh, muffin, boo-hoo, you have to wait like a regular person. Like, cry me a fucking river. Literally up until like 2 years ago when Book Talk threw us into this hyper-consumerism book haul collector culture, ARCs were hard to find for everyone. They didn't put out these massive batches of ARCs. Even for book reviewers, like I remember back in my day working at the bookstore, the store would maybe get like 5 copies of like 4 different books, and that was a lot of advanced copies. We were so excited that there were so many of them. And full transparency, I get a butt ton of books sent to me. I get a lot of advanced copies, and yet there are still things that I don't receive. Like just because I have a couple hundred or a couple thousand followers on a certain platform doesn't mean that I just get to snap my fingers and an advanced copy of whatever I want appears on my doorstep. If that were the case, I would have a copy of Calabasas in my hands because HarperCollins won't send me a copy even though I've been begging them for months, and I have to wait like a regular person until it's in the store and I can go get my grubby little book dragon claws on it and pay my own money dollars in exchange for that book. And what's worse, ARC copies now. Advanced copies that have typos in them, that literally don't have a dedication or an author's note or any like bonus content, are now being turned into special editions? How am I supposed to live, laugh, or love knowing that this is real? From what I can remember, I think this really started back in 2021 when Jay Kristoff's campaign for Empire of the Vampire had 4 different advanced copies, and they weren't even different, they just had different colors on them. And I am sorry to tell you, this is a Jay Kristoff hate channel, and I will not be changing my mind. Thank you so much. There were mixed reactions to this. Many fans and bloggers were like, oh my god, this is so exciting, but a lot of authors and other people in the industry were pissed off. Most people were complaining about the waste, both the physical waste of printing so many different copies, but also the waste of budget that went into these books. One of the reasons Jay Kristoff's on my shit list is because he tends to exploit Asian cultures in his books, and so a lot of Asian writers were speaking out on this, including Fonda Lee, who had a very famous clapback. ARCs are a tool for garnering early industry reviews. They were the one thing every author used to be fairly confident their publisher would send out to at least ensure the book was reviewed in trade journals and that librarians and booksellers were aware of it. Then ARCs became part of early marketing. Some authors get shitloads of ARCs stacked in a pyramid at BEA and distributed by the thousands. Many get the bare minimum, which these days just means an e-ARC available on NetGalley if a reviewer jumps through the right hoops to request it. Weaponizing ARCs as a prestige marketing tool will only exacerbate the author's haves versus have-nots and normalize the sale of ARCs. It's no surprise, but it stinks. Because that's what ARCs are for. They're meant to generate hype and get people aware of a new book coming out. However, in this scenario, I think the industry really showed its ass because they were basically saying they would put a butt ton of money into marketing something that was already a guaranteed seller, and they were taking away that budget allocation to actual diverse authors, despite them asking for more diverse fantasy. If you miss out on this because the publisher decided to not print as many, or they decided to not print any at all, then you are missing out on so many sales because people don't know about your book. And of course, that leads to bad things down the line, like losing money in yourself, being dropped by your publisher, probably not having the opportunity to write more. And for people out there saying, well, he also needs promotion and he also needs whatever. No, he doesn't. He is a well-established person with a dedicated fan base. They absolutely did not need to do this campaign. Pretty icky when the industry is willing to shell out hundreds of thousands of dollars to do multiple different colored editions of advanced copies of a well-known white male author, while also saying, we love diverse authors, we want to uplift new voices, but then not giving them anything? Or sometimes publishers will do like a UK versus US exclusive ARC edition. I'm thinking of you, Elise Kova. I like Elise Kova, but like, girl, why do we do this? And it's not like one of them is a special edition that like, oh, this one has an extra bonus chapter and this version has like special art. No, they're exactly the same. One of them's blue and it's an advanced copy. It's not even a finished copy. I'm gonna get kicked out of this apartment, I swear. But even like on a smaller scale, I don't need this to be this fancy. Like, I appreciate it. I like looking at pretty things, but like, it did not need to be like this. It does say limited edition proof copy. Mostly I'm upset about this because like, what's the point? What is the point of making extra special fancy foiled 4 different color editions of advanced copies? Because these cost more to make, so they're gonna make more limited runs of them, which means that only, you know, the chosen book bloggers and review outlets are going to get copies of these things, which just causes more infighting and bullying and competition and the ability to resell them for ridiculous amounts of money that don't benefit the publisher. If you want to create a collector's mentality, why don't you just put out a special edition? Or why don't you put out 4 copies of the actual book? Because love us or hate us, readers are collectors, obviously, and there are some people that will buy every single special edition that comes out of a book that they love. So why wouldn't you just make more money by putting out more different editions for the general public to be able to buy? Fun fact, this video originally was actually about special editions and how you don't need 17 special editions of a book you love, which like, I think that point is still very fair and that still stands. But when it comes to special editions, like publishers know what they're doing. You know, when every time that they release a new book that has new artwork, a new cover, it's new foiling, oh, there's like a special interior, there's a sprayed edge. This is marketing disguised as fan service. Like, people are not like, oh my God, we love the book community so much, we just wanted to give you a new cover. Like, yeah, you want to give me a new cover for $49.99, but this uptick of special editions in regular book things. I do think this has to do with TikTok and social media, but that's a whole other discussion. We kind of had this uptick of just special editions, and then that slowly started to trickle down into regular publishing, and like, that I'm not mad at. Because like, for example, my copy of Can't Spell Treason Without T has sprayed edges, and like, yeah, they're a little bit plain, but like, this is just a regular copy that anybody can buy at the store. My regular hardcover copy of The Night and the Moth that I bought at my local book warehouse has beautiful end pages. And like, this is in every copy of this print run. And I think this is really cool. You get a little surprise under the dust jacket, and it makes it special at a price that I was already willing to pay. So for regular copies, yes. But for art copies, no. We don't want people putting so much value on something that is unfinished. We don't want people reselling things for ridiculous prices. We want publishers to continue to give people advanced copies. We want to drive down the sense of competition, and we want to make regular books on shelves more special again. My solution to all of this is to make ARCs ugly again. Plain, bound manuscripts, nothing special. Just the way that God intended. Cheapest and the most simple, these are advanced bound copies. So for example, I have one of Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. So it's pretty plain. The cover doesn't reach all the way to the edges. It does have some marketing stuff on the back, but like not a ton. Usually it's just a synopsis. If you get a synopsis at all, pretty plain, but like the book is the book, and that's all that matters. Now, of course, taking away a little foiling here and there is not going to stop any rabid collectors, but I do think it will decrease the amount of people that would bite someone for it. I've talked plenty on this channel and my other social medias about overconsumption and, you know, the aestheticization of reading and having books in your life, how book haul culture falls into a consumerist cycle, and at what point are we buying books to actually read and enjoy versus just to have them. And I'm not here to judge or police people on like, if you're reading the right way, that's not what I mean, but it's also like, at what point do you buy a book because you actually want a physical embodiment of a story you love, and when do you buy it just to own it? The opportunity to read a book early for specifically marketing purposes is already a privilege, and that's already something that a lot of people want. And so to have a special pretty edition that only an even smaller amount of people get the opportunity to have think makes everyone feel bad. Plus, it will also only boost resellers in jacking up their prices to ridiculous amounts. And I don't want to make it sound that I think that everybody that resells ARCs is like a scammy scammer who's just out there taking advantage of young, naive readers. Kind of a gray area of legality and also of morality, but it's like, it's the principle of the thing. Obviously, there's already a market for it, but if that becomes more normalized, then people will know that they can get away with stuff like that, and it's only ever going to get worse. Not only will it harm authors, but it's also going to harm the publishers, which then in turn will be more stingy with their ARCs, which is going to both drive up the sales of those ARCs, but also it means that none of the book bloggers will get copies. So it's just like, what's the point? And the book community is about community. It's about connection. It's about loving stories and sharing those feelings with others. And we're apparently so starved for that connection, we're willing to pay $750 for it. And yes, we can blame Book Talk and Bookstagram and every book haul girly on the internet and the exploitative business practices of both the publishing industry and the secondhand sellers. And I get, in the attention economy, you need to make something as flashy and beautiful and exciting, as eye-catching as possible for people to want to see it. And I like a nicely bound ARC, but I really don't think that reviewers need something that is so outlandishly special that the general public couldn't also get. In fact, I think the general public deserves more. Now, if you are somebody who has a lot of ARCs, oh, Rachel, what am I supposed to do with them? If you want to resell something for like $5, $10 or just shipping, like, I can't really stop you. It's probably fine. I mean, I'm not your real dad. Maybe instead of selling them, maybe try one of these things. Number one, talk to your local bookstores. I have a ton of bookstores in my area that are both new and used that will take advanced copies in like a little trade-in section, or they'll have them for free that people can come in and take. Usually these are ARCs that like have come out already, not anything actually advanced. Number two is charity shops or thrift stores. Now, technically, I think they get away with selling them because it's a donated item and like all of their items are donated. But if that still feels weird, you can go on to the next one. Book trading hashtags online. I think you can try books for trade on X, if anyone actually uses X, or other book trading websites, or join Instagram groups or Facebook groups for your local area. If you don't have resources in your local area, you can list them online for free or like just pay shipping. You can give them to a friend, because I'm sure that a friend of a book blogger would love to have an advanced reading copy of something. You could put them in a little free library. Okay, and I don't know what the little free library situation is like, around the world, but where I live, in my neighborhood, most of them are full of very well-worn Scottish Highlander romance novels, and not much else. So I'm sure anybody walking by would be very excited to get their hands on a copy of like a fantasy book that came out within the last year. Craft with it. Rip pages out. Make a little collage. It's not even like it's a real copy, okay? It's not even a finished product. And last but not least, you can recycle it. It's just paper. Just put it in the recycling. You won't go to jail, okay? I promise. Where'd my water go? All right, myself and my fake Stanley Cup that I stole from my old university would like to thank you for joining me for today's video. I gotta reiterate, I didn't steal it, okay? My boss stole it from the student prize pack area and gave it to me. See, if I sold that, that would be weird. I don't know why anyone would want a BCIT branded obnoxious blue fake Stanley Cup, but if they did, I don't think I would sell it for $700. I really don't know if this is going to be like a hot button topic, because the majority of people that I saw online were anti-selling ARCs, but there were a few people arguing their case. I think they're wrong, but like, I kind of get where they're coming from. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. Please leave down below your thoughts and opinions and experiences on ARCs, reselling ARCs, special edition ARCs. Like, I would love to hear what you guys think. Do you think the ARC reselling market is actually as bad as it seems, or did I just come across a particularly bad page of eBay? Have you ever received one of these fancy special edition ARCs? Do you think it's any better than having an actual finished copy sent to you? Do you think we should blame Book Talk for all of our consumerist problems? The majority of the day I've been hyping myself up to do like 16 loads of laundry, but I don't think that's going to happen today. So I guess I'm just going to have to hype myself up to clean up the extreme mess that I've made. Oh, and I just checked. Instead of 26 degrees, it's now 24 degrees Celsius inside my apartment, which is like better than nothing, I guess. You know where to click to like the video. You know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!